Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today we're going to do a get ready with me using all of the products that I pulled in this past Makeup Basket Monday series, including the Anastasia Subculture Palette. So this is going to be a get ready with me using that palette so you guys can see it in action. I have tried it out a couple times this week, and to be honest with you guys, it's not that bad. I mean, I understand the concept behind it and everything now, so I know that you have to go in with the light hand, so it's not that bad. You're going to see it's not terrible. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually the first thing I already did, was I went ahead and put this oil on my skin. This oil seems to take a little bit longer to kind of absorb into my skin, so I put it on early. This is the Organic Bright Booster by Physicians Formula. It feels good. I mean, my skin feels very hydrated. I mean, obviously right now I look a little bit greasy, but I'm gonna need it for the foundation I'm using. The foundation I'm using is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. This is a very thick foundation. It's a foundation and concealer, so that's kind of to be expected. So I'm going to use this today to put on my face. I'm going to push my hair back enough so that I don't get it in my hair. I always do that, get it in my hair. So I'm just going to dab some of this on. I don't really like the wand to this. The wand's a little bit weird. It reminds me of the Tarte one. The Tarte, what is that called? Oh my gosh, I can't even think. It's the concealer. It's their Tarte, oh my gosh, what is that called? Do you see, like, not a whole lot comes off? I mean, I guess you don't need a whole lot of this foundation because it's so thick, so that's probably why not a whole lot comes off. What is that foundation called? What is that primer? It's the Tarte Shape Tape. It reminds me of the Tarte Shape Tape. So they're very similar, like the wands are, in my opinion. So I'm just going to dab this in. My skin is doing so much better, so honestly, I don't need a whole ton of coverage, which makes me happy because you guys know my skin there for a while was throwing some huge tantrums. It was like, it did not want to cooperate whatsoever. But now it's not too terrible. Not too shabby. Do you guys want to see my shirt I'm wearing today? It's so appropriate for the occasion because you guys know I am terrible at mascara. I picked this up off of the Amazon. I got it in the mail on Monday. So I shared a picture with you guys on Instagram, so you probably have already seen it. So I'm going to stand up so you can see it. It says, "Nobody said it was easy." And it's got all these mascara wands. You guys know, for me, mascara is not easy. I suck at mascara. I'm like, oh my gosh, how appropriate is that shirt for me? Because I struggle. Mascara is a huge struggle for me. So I thought it was super appropriate for me to wear. So, but do you see how good of coverage this does? It does pretty good coverage. I think the coverage is very nice. I need to somehow get my hair so it's not in my face. I'm going to put a little bit more. Actually, you know what? We're not going to put a little bit more on. We're going to go to the Bye Bye Breakout. We're going to use some of this. This is the It Cosmetics. It's a new product they've come out with. It's supposed to help with acne as well as help to conceal your acne. So it's a little bit light. I got a little bit of a light color, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. I'm not going to put this around my eyes. I did notice when I tried that the other day, when I tried that around my eyes, it's very drying, so it's not perfect for around your eyes. I'd say it's better for your face, not your eyes. That's just my opinion though. You may have tried it and you may be like, no, I disagree. But for me, it doesn't work super great around my eyes. So there we go. Oh, there's a little acne spot there. Cover that one up too. But you can see, even with that foundation being super thick and very full coverage, my face still has a lot of luminescence to it because of that oil. That oil really helped me. If you have dry skin, I totally recommend using some sort of oil before you use that foundation. If not, it's going to be cakey. And that's just not a look I'm going for. Now the next thing I'm going to do is prime my eyelids. I'm going to prime them actually with the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. So you don't have to use a primer, honestly, with this product in my opinion, but I'm just going to do that just to make sure I've canceled out any discoloration on my eyelids. And why not? It'll make the shadows pop a little bit more, just a little bit. I have been watching, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show on Netflix. It's called Friday Night Lights. It wasn't on Netflix originally, it was on like TV, but that's been many years ago. But I started watching that again, and gosh, that's such a good show. I love that show. So now I'm going to dip into the Anastasia palette. I can tell you the brush is not the greatest. The brush is just mediocre in my opinion. So I'm going to use my own brushes. So the first thing I'm going to do is set down a color. Now then, no way is this a tutorial because you guys know I'm not the best makeup. I'm not the best at makeup. This is just how it works for someone who likes makeup. I like makeup. I like to play with makeup. So that being said, I'm going to go into Dawn, and you can tell that it's obviously a dusty palette. So you just want to go in and barely tap and make sure you tap off. Tap it, tap. You want to tap, tap, tap. And I'm just kind of dusting this all over my eyelid. I'm going to go back in and tap off again. Oh, hopefully you guys can see that. Hopefully I have it up far enough. So I'm just tapping and tapping. Setting down that color. I'm going to go in just with a little bit more. It's a very dusty palette. But I mean, we've all known that now. That's not anything new. That's not new news. So we can all kind of understand now that we just need to go in with a light hand and build up. You don't want to go in and just like go ham with this palette, because if you go ham with this palette, you're going to have a hard time blending it. Okay, so now I'm going to go, my face is just right here. I'm going to go into, I don't know, I have no idea. I wore like a funky green color shirt today. I should have worn a little bit more fall appropriate shirt, but that's okay. We're going to do it anyway. So now I'm going to go in with Destiny. I'm going to use this shade right here on the same brush. I didn't even clean it off. And I'm just going to start applying the shadow. And you guys see, I mean, it's a little bit harder to blend because it's so pigmented. I've heard that it's more like a pressed pigment palette. It's not even super hard pressed, so it's just more like pigments in a pan. That's what I've heard this is like. So you're just gonna have to take your time with it and then just plan accordingly. I mean, you don't wanna say, oh, I'm just gonna go in here and throw this on and it's gonna work out amazingly. No, it's gonna take a little bit of time and effort to make this palette work. But I think the color payoff and I think the color selection is so beautiful. I love the colors in this palette. The colors are super ready for fall. I've worn this to over the weekend. I tried to wear it on Sunday, the Sample Sunday series. I wore it in that, and then I wore it for my Makeup Basket Monday, and then I wore it again for my son's game. So I've worn it several times, and so far it's so good. So hopefully it'll work out good enough that I can give it an okay review. I wouldn't say this is a palette for beginners, that's for sure. If you guys were looking for a beginner-friendly palette, this is not a beginner-friendly palette. Not whatsoever. This is more of a palette that you are going to have to know that it's going to take you a little bit of time and effort to blend and to make those shadows work. So there we go. There's the eye so far. See, it doesn't look terrible. I think everybody in the beginning was having so much problems with the palette because they had no idea how soft pressed this palette is. And also because they had no idea how pigmented it was. So now I'm going to go in with this Luxe Soft Definer brush. This is by, who is this by? I have no idea. Anyway, we're going to go with this brush and I'm going to just tap a little bit of this brown right here. I mean, you can see, obviously, you get a ton of pigment onto your brush when you do this. This palette is no joke with pigmentation. If you were looking for a pigmented palette, it's right here. If you're looking for something that's more of a color that you have to build because it's not going to go on super pigmented, this is not it. This is not it whatsoever. So again, tap, and I'm barely just pressing into here. I am not putting a whole lot of pressure onto this palette whatsoever. And that's the other key to this, is that you want to, right now I'm kind of laying down the color. You see how I'm laying it down and then we'll blend it out. But the other key to this palette is that you want to just very softly use this palette. You don't want to go in and put a whole bunch of powder onto your brush. It's not going to work out good for you. So now I'm going to clean off my brush using the little color switch. And now I'm just going to blend out a little bit. And that's the main thing you want to know, is you need to blend. And not all the colors work well together. A lot of people have said that they would rather use this palette for like a single shadow palette. I'm not going to do that, to be honest with you, because I hate single shadows. I have a whole drawer full of single shadows and I hardly ever use them. So I need to, like, maybe that should be a video I do, like a whole single series, like a whole singles week or something like that, because I have so many singles that I don't want to call this a singles palette. So now I'm going to go in with the shade All Star, and I'm going to lightly put that just in the outer V right here. So I'm building up a little bit more. And then go in back in with All Star. And go down and go up into the outer V. And then we're going to clean my brush. You guys see that the colors are super pigmented. I mean, it's no joke. You don't have to go in several times with this palette. You have got pigmentation after the first go round. And we'll blend it better up in the corner, up in the crease there. Right now it looks a little bit muddied together, so we can make this pop a little bit more once we've got all of our colors finished. I like my colors to be a little bit more defined. So that's the one thing I can say about this palette. It's hard to get a defined look because the colors are so pigmented and they start to kind of muddy together. I don't know if you can tell it or not, but they muddy together a little bit. Now I'm going to go back into Dawn and I'm using a big fluffy brush. And this is just, but more or less just to help blend out this shade up here to make it blend better into my crease. Blend better up to the brow bone area. I have a little bug in here. It's fruit season time. We live like pretty much smack dab in the middle of an orchard. And you can always tell when the apples get ready. We get all these little fruit flies. And they come in our house and I'm like, dude, go back to the orchard. Okay, the other thing I don't like about this palette so far is that there's no like brow bone color, because the color right here, which is cube, you don't want to use that for a brow bone color, because let me swatch it for you so I can show you. Because it doesn't show up. Hang on. Let's get a better swatch than that. So here's what it looks like. So I don't know if you can tell, it's got a pink undertone. I don't want that in my brow bone just because I think that's just not going to work very well for me. So I'm probably going to use something else for the brow bone. So for me, I'd say this is more of a complementary palette so far in my opinion. I don't think it's a palette that you want to use by itself all the time. I think it's a complementary palette. So I wouldn't say this is something you would travel with. Probably not. Now I'm going to go in with a flat shader brush and we're going to go into the shade Electric. This one here, a lot of people have problems with because it has a lot of fallout and it's hard to pick it up. You want to make sure you're using a flat shader brush to pick it up with, first of all. And then you can spray your brush too if you need to. Or you don't have to. I'm not going to. This is no beautiful eye look, to be honest with you guys. I'm just trying to show you how all the colors work. I know these colors probably don't look the greatest together. And that's okay. We're still going to make it work. So here's Electric again. It's such a pretty color. But like I said, it looks better if you kind of use some sort of setting spray or something to help to get that color to pack on. Because it's hard to get it to translate to your eyes for some reason. So it does work, but it just takes a little effort. Now I'm going to go back into All Star. So I want to make that color pop a little bit more. So I dipped in just a little bit heavier. And I'm going to make that color pop a little bit more and not blend it out so much. I'm just kind of laying it down and bringing it over. Laying it down and bringing it over. And there we go. Do the same thing on the other side. And bring it over. And then we'll blend out the outer portion. We're not going to blend on the lid at all. We're going to leave this just like it is. You don't want those colors to muddy together too much, so I think that's the best way to work it. So I'm going to go with a smaller brush. I'm going to go in with this Luxie. This is a Luxie blending brush. Perfect. So I'm just going to blend into the crease. I'm not blending on the eyelid whatsoever, just the crease. So you want to do circles and windshield wiper. Clean off my brush, go in on the other side. Circles and windshield wiper. And there we go. That looks pretty decent. Decent. That sounded awesome. Decent. Now I'm going to go in to my, actually, no, what am I going to use? I'm going to use this. I have my Bare Minerals Invisible Light Palette. I'm going to use the glow side right here on the palette to do for my brow bone highlight, just because I know that'll work well. So I'm going to use a clean brush. This is a Zoeva brush. So I'm going to use this one right here. I'm just going to pat. This is a little hard press, so you want to go in pretty heavy-handed with that. And I'm just going to put that there. It's not going to show up a whole lot because this is more of like an hourglass type of palette. I should have pulled the Anastasia Modern Renaissance to go with it. Because I know a lot of you guys have both palettes. You have the Modern Renaissance, or maybe you want both palettes. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes. And make sure that I don't pinch my eyelid. Have you guys ever done that before? Pinched your eyelid? That freaking hurts. Okay. Okay, eyelashes are curled. And I'm going to go in with a liner. I'm going to use this is the Super Cat liner by Soap and Glory. This came in like, it was like one of those, when you purchase a lot of things from Ulta, they give you like those gift bags. That's how I got this. So we'll see how good it is. It's like a felt tip. It's not like a brush tip. So if you like the brush tip better, then you're probably not gonna like this one. I don't mind either one. Just as long as they're pigmented and they don't bleed. The bleeding part is what really makes me frustrated, when it starts to bleed up into your shadows. Okay. Gonna connect it down there. Connect it there. And there that part is. Gonna put the lid back on this before it dries out. Alright. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to come back to my eyes. I'm going to go in with my Benefit Cheek Parade palette. I'm going to go in with the bronzer shade. I'm going to use just the regular Hoola. The Hoola Light is a really light shade for me right now. So it might work really well for me in like the fall and winter. But right now it's a little too light for me. So I want to actually see the bronzer. See that I look like I have a suntan. I kind of like bronzer. I don't contour, I like bronzer. I like do a little bit of both. What is that on my neck? What in the world? That looks weird. Looks like, I don't know what that is. That's weird. Who knows? Okay, now I'm going to go in with the palette again, and I'm going to go into California Blush. This one is really hard to get picked up onto your brush, so what I'm going to do, I have a hard time getting that one to like stick to my brush. I'm going to use this buffing brush, and I'm going to use that to pick up the powder because it picks up better on this brush. I just cleaned it off. It had the bronzer on it, but you guys know I like to mix my bronzers anyway, so there I'm putting it on the brush, and it picks up a lot better that way. But I think using a regular blush brush, it doesn't pick up super well. The good thing is with a buffing brush, it blends out very nicely, so I'm just going to pick up some more of that product and blend that on the other cheek. And down my nose a little bit. You guys know I like blush on my nose. It makes you look like you have a sunburn. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye look. So I'm going to put mascara on. And the mascara I'm going to use today is the It Cosmetics one. It's almost dead, but it's not completely dead. So I love this mascara, so I'm going to use it till its last drop. Use it till it's completely gone. I'm going to have a review up on Saturday, hopefully. I'll try to get it up in time. On the Subculture palette, where I'm going to do a few more makeup looks with it, so that if you wanted to see more eyeshadow looks using the palette, that'll be helpful. That's basically what I'm going to do in the video, is I'm going to show you the different looks you can create with it and how easy it is to work with it. So, because I think everybody and their brother has already swatched it. So I don't think I need to swatch the palette. I think I just need to show you guys how it works and how it looks on the eyes. On different looks. Because right now, I'm still playing with it. I'm still testing it. So that's the hard part, is I don't want to say, hey, this is, you know, the best palette in the world, because it absolutely is not the best palette in the world. I can tell you that. But it is a very pigmented palette. And I do think it's workable. I think it's very workable. Yep, mascara. I'm sucking at mascara again today. My shirt is so appropriate for today then. So appropriate. Okay, I got it on my eyelids. You guys know that's my struggle. I do it all the time. It's like same song, same dance every time. Okay, now I'm going to go back into the Subculture palette and I'm going to kind of line my bottom lash line. So I'm going to use this flat shader brush and I'm going to go into the Destiny shade that we started with. And I'm going to just, my mirror decided to move. Actually, it didn't move. I moved it. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on my bottom lash line here. And then I'm going to go back and do it again on the other side. And that looks not too shabby, so I'm going to wipe my brush off a little bit. And I'm going to smudge it, not really smudge, but like smoke it out just some. Bring it in a little bit more and just smoke it. I know a lot of people said that they don't think this palette is everyday friendly, but I kind of disagree. I think you can totally use this palette for like everyday, for like work. I don't think that that's true. I think it all depends on like what your work of course allows. But I know a lot of people are saying that they don't think it's going to be appropriate for work, but I'm like, I don't see how it's not. Now I'm just going to clean up my eyelid. Get that mascara off. That's why these little Q-tips come in super duper handy. Now I'm going to, actually I'm going to go back into the Subculture palette and I'm going to put a little bit of that green on the top because I think that kind of went away too, along with when All Star went away. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this right here, right near the red, just because I want it to kind of connect to the bottom. And my camera cut off, my battery was dead and I didn't realize it, so hopefully I didn't miss too much. I was just basically working on my bottom lash line and then connecting it to the top a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just kind of take my brush and blow it out a little bit right there. So you can still totally see the red and you can see the green. You can see the middle shade. So I think you can totally work with this palette. I think you just got to use a little bit of a different hand as to how you normally would do your makeup. I don't think it works the same as I don't think it's the same as the Modern Renaissance whatsoever. Now that's the first thing I will say. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to conceal under my eyes. I'm going to use the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. I'm just going to put a little bit of this here and a little bit of this here. And we're just going to conceal a little bit. See, that wand is so huge. It's just like the Tarte Shape Tape. Only thing is, my Tarte Shape Tape, I got it in the wrong shade. I got it in the shade light neutral, and that's so light for me. Oh my goodness, it looks super brightening and I don't really like that look on me. And then I'm just gonna clean up under here a little bit. See, I didn't have a tremendous amount of fallout either, guys. I mean, it wasn't that bad. That's what I'm saying. I think everybody in the beginning was hating the palette because nobody was given any kind of notification as to how the palette was going to work. And then when they got it, they were like, oh, it's just going to be like any other palette. No, you can't go in crazy with this one. Now I'm going to set my under eyes using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pressed Pores. I need to get the full size in this, guys. I need the full size. It's such a good powder for me. It works really, really well. It sets my under eyes. It doesn't get creasy. It just looks good. It just looks really good for me. I can use it all over. Can use it wherever I want to. It just looks really, it makes my skin look a lot better than what it does without it. That's for sure. Now I'm going to go in and put my lipstick on. I'm going to use the Urban Decay, the Vice palette. This palette, I don't like it. I don't like it so much at all. I don't like the little, it comes with this little pencil thing that you're supposed to be able to do your lips with. It's just awkward and hard. I'm like, this thing is weird. I'm going to use the shade Carnal, which is right here. I'm going to use that shade. I don't know. I like the colors in here. It's just this pencil thing is really awkward to use. Urban Decay has some really naughty names. Have you ever noticed that? I've been noticing a lot of companies have some very inappropriate names for their makeup. And I'm like, goodness. I would not want my daughter being like, what's on your lips? Well, it's carnal. I don't know. I just think that's, their naming stuff is a little weird. And I know, oh gosh, I just messed up. I need to stop talking. I know they had some issues a while back because they had named some products like after drugs, which is really inappropriate. I don't know. What is up with that? What's up with companies naming these things like so weird? And Kylie Cosmetics, she has some really weird names for her makeup. It's just, it's strange. Anyway, it doesn't look bad. I don't think this product doesn't, but I just don't like that little, oh man, look what I just did. Man. See, I suck at lipstick too. You guys, I just suck at makeup. I just like playing with it, so. Anyway, this is today's look using the Subculture palette. Let me know what you think. Do you think it worked out okay? Of course, the colors probably aren't the most gorgeous colors together, but I just wanted to kind of show you how the colors work. So I'd love to know your thoughts, your opinions on the Subculture palette, whether or not you think you're gonna get it or whether or not you're gonna pass. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.